Hi, everyone. It's 3 o'clock. How's everyone doing? Let's just get warmed up before we get started. I think people are just sort of slowly getting into the webinar. So let's just play around and make sure we know how to use some of the features, because I want to make sure that we make this a little bit interactive, right? We're adults, and adults generally have an attention span of about 20 minutes. And I would argue that's probably way less these days, maybe 10 minutes. So I want to make sure that, I keep this engaging. And so I'm going to be asking you a bunch of questions throughout the session. So first, what I would love to hear from you is where you are calling in from. And I'd like you to share one word that describes how you're feeling today with everything that's going on. So one word with how you're feeling today. And you're going to find your chat box. You can usually find it in the upper right-hand corner. You might have to go and drag it down to keep it over on the right. Oh, there we go. We got someone. There's Tina from Burlington. Tina is my helper today. All right, Deb. Hey, Deb from Oakville. Feeling stressed. Yes, that's why we're all here, right? That's why we are all here. And anyone else? I see someone with the top of someone's head. I'm not sure who that is. Someone's feeling a bit depressed. Yes, absolutely. I can relate for sure. Lots of weird feelings out there. Anyone else? So 2 Oakvillians, 1 Burlington. So we're all kind of at the same, moving at the same pace and timeline in terms of our changes that we're dealing with, right? So last night, I guess the latest was now that you can only gather in groups of 5. So it's like every day, there's a new thing, right? There's a new change and there's something new to deal with and to get your head around. So it can be really difficult. And that's why I wanted to bring you all together. So I'm just going to hang in for a couple more seconds, see if anyone else can figure out the text feature. If you can go ahead and text that in. I want to make sure everyone can find it. So it's the top right. You might have to drag your cursor up and then you'll see a bar kind of slide down. Does everyone see that? Who am I missing? I see Debbie. I see Louisa. I know there's someone else there. So I hope you can find your chat feature. If you can't find your chat feature, if you wouldn't mind unmuting and letting me know, just really quick before we start. That's okay. All right, let's get going. We are on time. If someone joins us later, then we can just catch them up. So I'm going to leave my chat feature over to the right so that you guys can keep chatting with one another while I go through the presentation, because I want to make sure that you guys are engaged and talking with each other, because I think we all need a little bit more of that these days. So,
hey, Linda,
yeah.
Can you hear me? It's Lily.
Yes.
I'm on too. Can you see me?
I don't think I can, but let me just double check. No, I see a black screen.
Okay, I'm going to try and fix that. But I just wanted you to know that I'm on.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so you must have been that square I was waiting to hear from.
Could be. I'm sorry, and I tried, and then I was
okay.
on mute, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I'm here.
Okay. So why don't we start with some quick introductions? So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Linda Lukovic, and I am a holistic nutritionist, and my husband and I have a wellness center in Oakville. My background is in learning and development or human resources, and I am really passionate about educating around natural solutions, one of those being essential oils. And to make a long story short, I got into this field because of my own health challenges. So I struggled on a number of different levels health-wise. So anxiety being one of them, but also having some unexplained health symptoms where I was quite sick for a while and not really able to figure out answers. And it took me a long time to get those answers. And so through my journey, I truly believe that it is up to each and every one of us to really take ownership and advocate for your own health. We can't sit around and wait for someone else to tell us what to do and when to do it. It's really up to us to own it. And there's so much power in using essential oils. And that's why it's one area that I truly love teaching about. So that's me. And I've got Tina and Lily joining me as well. They're from my team. And we got talking and, we were talking about everything that everyone's going through right now. And we thought, what a great time to just bring everyone together and talk about things and remind everyone about some of the amazing tools that you probably have in your home right now. So Tina, do you want to introduce yourself really quick, and then we'll hop over to Lily and then we'll get going?
Tarot came into my life at a point where I really needed it. I was getting daily headaches, weekly migraines, sleep deprived because of my night terrors. And doTERRA started me on a health journey. So I started with the oils, then went to the vitamins and supplements, started using collagen and bone broth, started doing keto. So really looking into the natural side of health and how I could help myself. And doTERRA took me down that journey. And I always say you don't know how good you can feel until you feel that good. And from 3 years ago to today, it's like, oh my God, it's amazing what a difference it is. I don't have my headaches. I don't get my migraines. I sleep well, except for the last few days, but I sleep well. So I'm very thankful for doTERRA to bringing me down that path.
Thanks, Tina. Lily, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see me, and I'm so sorry, but I'll just let you know that I spent most of my career, like 28 years, in a corporate job for a science company. In the last 4 or 5 years of my career, I spent in health and wellness and employee communications. And when I left that job, I was already using doTERRA essential oils. And one of the main reasons I was using or started using essential oils was for my anxiety. From the time that I was a small child, like grade 1, I started getting panic attacks. And, I had tried a whole host of things, but honestly, I've got to say, you try and get things under control as you grow into an adult. And there are still times now, even though I feel like I have it under control, there are some days that I don't. And the essential oils definitely help me on a daily basis, whether it's just for my sleep at night or to calm those really crazy thoughts in my head in the middle of the night when I cannot sleep and there's 1,000 things going on in my head. And also just for the anxiety, for whatever reason my anxiety crops up, I don't know sometimes, and the essential oils help me physically and emotionally for sure.
That's awesome. Thanks so much, Lily. We all have our stories, right? And that's usually why you get into the field you're in, you struggle yourself, you want to teach people once you find something that works for you. So this is a really important topic. I'm just going to make this a little bit relatable to share a story about something that I just felt and experienced. And, the other week, probably last week, I woke up and I felt some pain in my back, in my lungs. And I kind of got a little panicky. Like I started to feel like, oh my gosh, why do my lungs hurt? Like what's going on? What's happening? And I literally, like, my brain went there. It's like, oh my God, I've got COVID. I seriously self-diagnosed myself laying in bed because my back was sore and I felt like I couldn't breathe deeply. But it started with just the achiness, but then my brain kicked in and said, oh my God, I've got it. And then my anxiety got worse. So I then couldn't breathe as deeply. And then, so it's a cascade. It's how it goes, right? And then I caught myself because I know how it works. And I'm like, oh my God, Linda, you did a class yesterday where you were doing like back exercises. I totally had sore muscles. But it's incredible how quickly a thought or a feeling can turn into something bigger. And anxiety is going to hit everyone differently. Like for me, I had some health issues and I was quite sick for a while. And so when something comes up with my health, I quite often go there very quickly. And it's almost like PTSD, right? Post-traumatic stress disorder in a way. And so there is a lot when it comes to the mind and how it sort of plays out when it comes to anxiety. So we're going to talk about this topic because this topic is broad. We're going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about stress, anxiety, and emotions because they are all linked. They're all connected. So let's take a look at the kind of the flow of the conversation today. So we're going to remind, I'm not sure, I think all of you guys right now have oils. Okay, so we might skip over some things. However, I know I had someone signed up. She's not on though, Nadine, who has, I don't think she's used oil. So I'm just going to catch her up later. But what we were going to talk about was the 3 cool things about essential oils, the 3 ways to use oils. And so I'm going to talk about those in relation to what's happening right now. And then we're going to dive right into our topics. We're going to dive in and talk about sleep, anxiety, stress, and mood. And we're going to talk about them sort of interchangeably. Then we're going to talk about some of the best oils that you can actually now get for anxiety. There's some really great new ones out there. And then at the very end, I'm going to talk you through about the business opportunity, because I thought some of you might be interested in learning about the business opportunity. I'll have to say, a lot of my anxiety right now comes from the fact that we had to close our business. So we don't really have a lot of money coming in from my husband's side, well, 0 on that side. And so I thank God that I've got this oils business because I've got some income coming in. So I just wanted to share with you the opportunity. If you want to hang in for that, you are welcome to. If you don't want to, you can I'll let you know when we're going to go into that and you can just pop off. All right. So let's start with having you guys text in to whoever brought you here today. So whoever you know, text into that person what your top 2 kind of, not health goals, but like things that are on your mind right now that you want to address. So is it sleep that's your top one right now? Is it, the stress of getting COVID-19? Is it the fact that your anxiety is like way up here? Okay, so what are those 2 things? And if you just want to take a picture of this slide, you'll have our numbers and then you can just text us in your answers. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about those things as I take you through all of this content, because I want you to find solutions by the time we finish this chat. And I'm going to be sharing a lot of things. And so I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by it. So if you can target where you want your answers, you'll be better able to sort of hear what you need to hear in this next hour. Does that make sense? Okay. Can anyone relate to that story I was telling you about the, oh my God, self-diagnosing myself? Has anyone done that yet? Feel free to chat that in if you've done anything like that recently. No judgment here. We are all dealing with this. It's heavy. We've never been through anything like this. So someone else did, Debbie, you did the same thing. Yeah. It's the uncertainty of it all that I think really makes this stress a lot more heavy too. And if you've got families to explain this to, if you've got, people depending on you to be up and positive, sometimes we don't express our emotions the way we should be. So we'll talk about that too later. So what I'd like you to do now is chat in a rating. And so what I'd like you to do is on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to rate, and you're going to rate 3 things. The first one is, how often are you aware of being stressed in your daily life? That's going to be your first number you chat in. The second number you chat in is, how concerned are you about the quantity and quality of your sleep? Okay. And then the last one is, how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately? Okay. So we all have emotions, but how difficult are they? How does it feel? Okay. So just 0 to 10, 10 being like huge, huge problem, 0 being not at all. Just text in your numbers. And as you do that, I'm just going to go forward. So aware is 7. All right, so I'll keep watching for your numbers. 8 is asleep, good. So let's talk a little bit about stress. So the hypothalamus is a key control center in our brains. And okay, so seeing the numbers come in now. So aware 7, aware 10. So we've got some high numbers. Yeah, sleep 7. So we've got some work to do. Yeah, so we've got some work to do. So let's figure it out together. So when we we'll just kind of review 101, what happens when we're under stress. The control center of the brain, it's designed to protect us. So stress is actually a good thing. And I'm going to recommend a TED's talk to watch just to understand this concept. It's by Carrie McCongill, and I'll send it to you after. I'll send you the link if you're interested, but it kind of reframes stress as being actually a good thing. And again, this is a really good example of how you think about things and the effect that it's going to have on your body. So if you think stress is good, then your bodies actually handle stress better than people who think stress is bad. Okay, so we're not talking about regular stress here. What we're talking about the kind of stress that is chronic, that is constant, that is 24/7, that is going on for weeks and weeks on end. It's when your body never has a chance to come down. So when you're under stress, what happens is the brain gets messages to secrete hormones. So one of those being cortisol, epinephrine, also adrenaline. Also, you've probably heard of those hormones. And the problem is when your body is secreting those hormones all the time, constantly for weeks after weeks and up to months, it can have really devastating effects on your mental health and well-being. And physically, you might feel irritable, anxious, depressed. Some people get headaches. Some people get stomach aches, gut issues. I had gut issues last week and I had problems digesting my food. And it was a reminder that, hey, I got to get ahead of this stress. Some people don't sleep. Anyone ever have a night, you guys, where you're mulling over a blog you just read or an article you just read that just sends you spinning out of control? So I know I've been there. I read one in particular right before bed and I know better. And I was just spinning all night long about this ridiculous article that I should not have read. Because again, that trauma, the body thinks it's under attack. And so it's going to create this stress response in your body when you read something negative. Okay. One of the things that you might not recognize is when you're under stress, there are 3 systems of the body that basically shut down. Okay. Your hormones, so your hormonal balance, your immune system, right? And your digestion. Okay, so those 3 systems are compromised when you're under stress. And so that's why you see some of the symptoms that you see right here. And the reason we sort of lump sleep into this category is that because 70% of problems with sleep are related to cortisol and stress and what's happening in your brain. So we have to address them all at the same time. So let's take a look at, we're going to kind of skip this section because I think people know the 3 cool things about essential oils. Maybe I'll just remind you that your oils are strong. You don't need a lot. And so remembering just a little bit more often is better than lots of drops at one time. They are effective, and I feel super blessed and super safe and comfortable knowing that I have oregano in my home, for example, and that I have Melissa essential oil that is the top immune blend. That gives me comfort because I know that these essential oils work. They get inside the cell and they can kill a virus. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to kill COVID, so please don't take it that way. They support the body's immune system so that it can fight off germs. Okay, so it puts the body it supports the body. Now, but I feel good knowing that I have something so that I can avoid those walk-in clinics. They're absolutely, I think we all are starting to see that they're affordable now, especially if you're on the points program. Is anyone not on the points program? Not that I'm going to call you out. Don't worry, I won't say anything. But if you're not on the points program, you might not see as much savings as other people. But if you're on the points program, you're definitely starting to see all of those free things come your way. So there's definite savings there. All right, so those are the 3 cool things. So now let's take a look at the 3 ways to use essential oils. Now, based on emotions and sleep, there are still 3 ways we can take essential oils. So inhaling them, so using your diffuser, or just as simple as dropping them in the palms of your hand and taking 3 deep breaths in. That's actually one of my favorite ways right now to address anxiety and stress. And the reason is because it's forcing us to breathe properly. And as a yoga teacher, one of the huge things we focus on in teaching is the power of the breath and its connection to your nervous system. And so I'm just going to teach you a breathing technique right now that you can use with your oil. So if you happen to have oils near you, grab it right now, put a drop in the palm of your hand, And what you're going to do is you're going to create the scent tent, okay? And whenever you're feeling anxious or stressed, you're going to breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6. So there's a reason we're breathing out for a longer period of time, all right? So you're going to breathe in and then exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can do your own counts. The key here is to make sure that you breathe out longer than you're breathing in. Okay, so if you're breathing in for 4, breathe out for 6 or 8. If you're breathing in for 6, maybe breathe out for 8 or 10. Okay, so figure out what works for you. It's a very, very powerful breathing technique. It engages the diaphragm and it calms the nervous system immediately. Tack on using your essential oils, you've got like the perfect formula for calming anxious feelings and nerves. So that's what I love, using oils aromatically. Also fantastic, we have our diffusers, right, for before bed. When we're using oils topically, I am using oils topically all the time these days. Are you guys? What's your favorite way to use oils topically right now? I know for me, we are using that On Guard mist all day, every day. I'm using it on my groceries. I'm using it on my hands. Yay, Tina. What is that?
Balance.
Balance. Yes, balance all day, every day for anxiety and stress. That is the key, is to get ahead of it, right? Mm-hmm. Get ahead before your body's there. And your oils will help to do that. It will help to put you in a relaxed state so that you're not peaking up and down as much as you would normally for a stressful situation. I'm definitely using my drops internally. Now, when we use our drops, I like to add Melissa. So if we have to go out for whatever reason, we'll take a couple drops of Melissa. We'll either put a drop under our tongue, or we'll take a veggie cap of Melissa and On Guard, take that internally. Great immune support. And a bath, yes, love oils in a bath, fantastic. Add some Epsom salts there and you've got the total like Zen situation because you're getting magnesium as well. That's awesome. So lots of ways you can use your oils: under your tongue, in a veggie cap, using them for stress, behind the ears, topically, and I'll talk about them as I go through some of these specific examples. So let's talk about sleep first, because we know that sleep impacts everything. So if we're not, there's Lily. If we're not sleeping well, we're not going to handle stressful situations very well the next day. I had that day last week where I didn't sleep well. I'm normally a great sleeper. Like I will fall asleep when my head hits the pillow. I'm so annoying to my husband because he's the opposite of me. But I did have that night where I read that article and I could not sleep and I got into the buzzing mode. You know, when you get into buzzing, that's your cortisol, right? And it's hard to come back from that. And that's why you need to get ahead of it, okay? Do not watch or read the news before bed. Never have your phone in your bed with you. Never have Wi-Fi in your bedroom, okay? So if you're putting your phone on your bedside table, stop that habit. Turn it onto airplane mode or put it outside of your room. Make sure you have a pitch black bedroom. That's really important for melatonin. And, like I said, if you are stressed and your cortisol is high, then your body is not able to produce the melatonin that it needs to repair. And sleep is so important because in the nighttime hours when you're asleep, that's when your body is repairing its immune system, right? You guys, we need our immune systems to be strong, strong, strong. So if we're not sleeping well and for longer periods of time, then we're probably not getting that repair. So your body goes in, fixes any damaged cells, and just does some repair work from the things that you did in the day. So the best single oils. So what I'm going to be doing is sharing the best single oils and then blends for these different topics. So for sleep, lavender. I mean, we all know lavender. The man's lavender is called Petite Grain. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Petite Grain. It's same, smells different, a little bit more woodsy. Not everyone loves lavender, but it is a very calming oil and can help most people sleep really well. Now, sometimes that's not enough, and sometimes it will rev people up. And that's the thing with oils. You're probably already learning that, you guys, because you have your oils. Sometimes you have to experiment a little bit and find the right combo for you. And I don't know if Lily and Tina, you want to text in your favorite sleep combos, but maybe go ahead and do that. Vetiver is fantastic for a busy brain. Kind of a heavier smelling oil. It's very thick. So when you have vetiver, it's good to get a dropper top so that you can pull the oil out more easily. But vetiver is so, so good for those type A's and those people who are spending a lot of time in their brains thinking. Can anyone relate? That's totally me.
Linda, because I'm normally great to fall asleep, but lately I've been using the vetiver because, like you, you read or you watch everything that's happening in the world, and my brain just keeps going. What's going to happen? Will I still go to Disney in October? Like, you just keep going and going.
Yeah.
I put it actually on my big toe or the bottom of my foot because I can't stand the smell of it, and that just shuts down my brain.
Yeah.
So if you guys are doing the same thing, vetiver is for you.
Awesome.
I've been finding the same thing, Tina. Like this past week, I was putting vetiver on the bottom of my feet and especially on my big toe.
Yeah.
I still diffuse lavender and easy air like I do every night, but I'm just finding like in the middle of the night when I'm waking up at 2 or 3 and I'm like, I can't stop. And I'm in my head, I'm going like, how did I even get here into this conversation inside? I get up, I put lavender or vetiver on, and it really does make a difference for me. And then I sleep till like 7, which is a sleep in for me.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I've been finding like lately, this has really been helping me a lot.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to find your combo, and it's going to be different for everyone. And that's, you just got to figure out what works for you. And sometimes it changes, right? It might work for a certain period of time, then you got to change it up again. But the key is to figure it out. Cedarwood and a lot of the wood oils are very helpful for sleep because they're considered grounding oils. And so they bring you down, like out of your head and into your body. And they help to just calm your nervous system. So just like they would when you're on a hike, when you go for a hike and you're in the trees and it feels so amazing, you just feel like happier. Cedarwood's great for that, as is balance and some of the other tree-based oils. So that can also be really helpful for sleep if you haven't tried that one yet. Some of the blends that are fantastic for sleep are Serenity. So I'm going to share another version of Serenity in a second too. But Serenity is a beautiful blend, a little bit sweet. I actually use that in my bath all the time. Peace is fantastic. It's part of the Emotional collection, and it's beautiful. Some people love that blend. And Adaptive. Adaptive is one of our new-ish oils. It was new this year, and it was designed specifically for anxiety. But I've heard from people that it is helping people sleep like a rock. So some people like to take Adaptive in the morning. Some people actually take it around 4 or 5 p.m. and they notice that their sleep is much deeper and longer. So that could be something that you experiment with as well. Some other sleep tips, feel free to drop in, guys, but try to avoid screens if you can, or use those blue blockers, like the glasses. You can get them pretty cheap on Amazon, and it blocks the blue light out because that light from your screen messes with your circadian rhythms and it messes your sleep. And so if you could at least wear the blue blockers if you're going to be looking at any screen in the evening hours. If you can do a screen blackout period, like after 9 p.m., I know that's really hard to ask you guys, but that is ideal if you can do that. But really kind of keeping the screens away from bedtime and having a pitch black room, being slightly cool, not having you want to put your heat down at night because you want to be a little bit cool, and then making sure your phone's on airplane mode. So let's talk about some other oils that you may not have heard of for nighttime. So these are the supplements that are available. So Serenity soft gels, if you're finding the oils aren't working, these are awesome. They have, the Serenity has L-theanine in it as well. And L-theanine is in a lot of natural supplements that are designed for sleep. And L-theanine is like a calming mineral for the brain. So it helps to calm the brain down. So if you find that the oils aren't working, that is definitely something you might want to try. Cobaiba soft gels is incredible for anxiety and any sort of chronic pain that people might be feeling. I personally love Cobaiba when I'm feeling anxious. That's actually the one I reach to before anything else. So it's also one you can experiment with if you haven't tried it yet. Adaptive soft gels are the ones that are designed for anxiety, and the soft gels have what is it called? GABA in them, and very small amount, so only 100 milligrams. So even supplements in the health food store have much higher amounts, like 300, 400. So it's a very safe, low amount. You don't have to be overly concerned that you're ODing on anything, but GABA is really good for when your brain is feeling a little bit low, like you're feeling a little bit low, a little bit tired, and maybe feeling like you need a bit of a pick-me-up. I know a lot of people are finding adaptive sort of just gives you that, like, that energy. And I've got a million stories I could share, but adaptive has been a life changer for some people. So I personally love that one as well. So it's a great alternative to try also. And yarrow palm, interestingly enough, is great support for the brain. It's a fantastic product to have right now because it's got some beautiful things in there for the immune system, also like vitamin C and grapeseed extract. And yarrow itself is great for the immune system. And I believe zinc is in there as well. So all the things that are good for your skin are actually really good for your immune system. So if you have a bottle of this sitting on your shelf, open it up, start taking it every day, you guys. This is such a great supplement for this time right now that we're going through. And yarrow palm has been found to be very emotionally balancing as well. So let's talk about anxiety. How about that? So we all, a few of us have mentioned that we struggle with anxiety. And the thing with anxiety is it will come out very differently for everyone, depending on, everyone feels it differently. So for me, sometimes I don't even realize I'm anxious until later. And then I realize, like, oh yeah, that was not an appropriate response. That was probably my anxiety coming out. And so yeah, it's just something to be aware of. But some of the oils that help with anxiety, if you're in the moment of like an anxious reaction, so this would be a little bit different from oils for stress, which we'll talk about next. But the anxiety is like when you're having an anxious response. So lavender is fantastic. So I used to use lavender when I come home from work, when I had my office job. I would love to put a drop of lavender in my tea and have that at the end of the day instead of reaching for, a glass of wine, for example. I think a lot of us joke about, the whole like wine thing. Everyone drinks wine, it's mommy juice and all of that. But I think, at the end of the day, it could be, there are other options that might be a little bit more healthy and that won't impact your anxiety over the long run. Because if we are having alcohol every night, it can actually make your anxiety worse. And so if that's something you're trying to focus on, then maybe having a drop of lavender in your hot water at the night will help you feel a little bit calm. And then if you still feel like you want that glass of wine or that drink, then have it after. But give yourself a chance to try the lavender first. I do believe that we can reach for plants and nature first before we go for stronger things. So frankincense has always been a great oil. I mean, you can use frankincense for everything, but that's why we always say when in doubt, choose frankincense, because it's so helpful for so many things. Now, I like to refer to it as your oil that supports the brain. It has the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier. And basically, the blood-brain barrier is something that protects the brain from unwanted things getting in your brain. And so it's hard to pass the blood-brain barrier unless you have leaky brain, which a lot of people who have anxiety do, connected to leaky gut. But anyways, frankincense helps to go into the brain and addresses inflammation. And let's be honest, a lot of people who are depressed or anxious have an inflamed brain. And so by focusing on frankincense and doing that daily, maybe a drop under your tongue every morning, a drop of your tongue every night, you're going to notice that your brain will start to calm down a little bit, and it can be really helpful for some people. So frankincense is fantastic for anxiety, and especially if you're currently having like a panic attack or your breathing is fast or however it's coming out, just by slowing down, putting some frankincense under your tongue, that will help. Also helps for things like migraines. So if you get a migraine from stress, then try placing a drop on your thumb, pressing it to the roof of your mouth, and notice that calm or notice that tension start to release. Wild orange can be really good for some people for anxiety. Basically, all the citrus oils are fantastic. So they're very uplifting and they sort of take you away from those anxious feelings. And peppermint can be fantastic. I know a lot of people who used to suck mints or chew gum when they started to feel anxious. And so why not grab a peppermint beadlet and have those beadlets close by? Because it sort of takes your awareness away from whatever you're worrying about and and kind of takes it on to the uplifting effect of that peppermint that it has on you. So it can be very, very powerful for anxiety. Just, putting a drop on your thumb of peppermint, pressing it through your mouth, or taking a beadlet, even a drop under your tongue, but it's really strong, you guys. So sometimes people find it a bit too strong to just drop under your tongue. But you could also use it topically. So some of the blends that are good for anxiety, Adaptive was designed specifically for it. Balance, I love, and that's been my lifesaver. And whenever I'm anxious, I like to use Balance, and I tend to kind of use it proactively, which is, again, what I was saying earlier, what you really want to get good at. So I put a drop of Balance behind my ears every morning, and then whenever I think about it throughout the day. Because when you're doing that, again, you're going to notice that those stressful situations that then come to you throughout the day are not going to feel as stressful, okay? Because your Balance really helps to support balanced cortisol levels. And Peace as well is very similar to Balance. Another one blend I wanted to put here was Forgive. And it's an interesting one because, let's be honest, we're all cooped up into our homes, or feeling cooped up. And, I've been reading a lot of posts and blogs from people and moms and anyone who's feeling cooped up, and or even people who can't get out of their house to visit the people they want to visit, and we're being hard on ourselves. And so sometimes we just need to forgive ourselves, right? It's a hard time right now, and so we can get frustrated with the way we deal with things, and maybe losing control and getting mad at ourselves because we're not being that perfect mom or that perfect daughter or sister or aunt or whatever it is. So forgiveness is huge, and it's actually, in studies, has been shown to be one of the most powerful emotional oils out of the doTERRA emotional line, Forgive. So I think we all need to forgive ourselves a little bit more through this really trying time. And one that I absolutely can't miss and forget is Zengest, because like I said, your digestion is one of the systems that stops working when you're stressed. And your body doesn't secrete acids as much when you're stressed. And so sometimes even just supporting that digestion can make you feel a lot different throughout the day. So some other oils, just sort of looking at them in a different way. Frankincense we talked about. So it's great when you're sort of wanting to settle your mind, easing hyperactivity. Vetiver stops the mind chatter, like I mentioned. So just kind of reviewing here. Bergamot is a really nice oil as well for stress. And I'm going to get into that the next section, but it works as a natural sedative as well. And Roman chamomile, also fantastic for calming the mind. So this is just a neat chart that shows you some of the different blends and the emotions that would use them for. So you'll see fatigue at the bottom, at the top here, and stressed at the bottom. So what I want you to do is think about, are you above the line or below the line more? And then on the left is no peace, and on the right is no passion. So do you feel like you just never feel peaceful and rested? Or do you feel like you just don't have enough oomph, enough passion and excitement about things? So depending on where you are, this chart will help you reach for the right thing. Or maybe these words help you to figure that out. Maybe you want something calming or composing. Maybe you want something grounding and reassuring. Or maybe you need something encouraging and inspiring, right? Like, this is so hard. We just want to feel hopeful and, look to something good that's happening. So this can be a really neat chart to know what you need as well. So let's talk about stress. So we talked earlier about how the hippocampus is very involved and how the body secretes cortisol. And what we want to do is make sure that our body is well equipped to deal with those stressful moments, so that the ups and downs don't feel as high and as low as they might. And again, it's being proactive with your oils. So frankincense, we talked about, is very supporting to the brain and any inflammation that could be happening in the brain. Lavender, also very calming. The linalool in there is researched. It's been researched tons, and it shows that it lowers blood pressure and helps to lower pulse rate. So it's a very effective role. Ylang is a very powerful oil when it comes to stress. And FYI, it's also an aphrodisiac. And there is a link between, that and stress, right? And then bergamot is a really fantastic oil for stress. There's a beautiful blend that I make of lavender, ylang, and bergamot together in a roller bottle that works really well. Now, Clary sage is also a single oil that's fantastic for stress because it's our hormonal balance oil. And do you remember that other system I said was compromised when you're stressed? Your hormone system. So your Clary sage can be very, very balancing when it comes to your hormones. And, if you're stressed, you're going to feel your hormones, going all over the place. And so we want to make sure that we're definitely keeping those calm and relaxed. And so the blends that work well for stress, adaptive, like I mentioned, really being proactive with that, being proactive with your balance. Deep blue is also great because a lot of us hold our stress in our muscles, especially our men, or if you're working out. If you're holding tension in your body, that can be perceived as a stress to the body. And so it's really good to really try to figure out how to let those muscles relax and release. So deep blue can be a really calming oil to your muscles. Now, Clary Calm, again, is sort of a blend that has Clary sage. So it's like your hormonal balance. So again, if your hormones are imbalanced, that is also causing stress to the body. So it's almost like this vicious loop, right? So you want to really be proactive and get ahead of all of this imbalance just by using your oils proactively. And I put On Guard as well because On Guard helps the immune system. And we know that that also is a system that's compromised when you're stressed. And so by giving the body a little bit of a boost when it comes to your immune system is great. But also, as we all know, the oils work on an emotional level. On Guard is one that's it's called a protective oil. So it can protect you from other people's feelings and emotions as well. So I've seen a couple people comment about, trying to get the picture of you guys again. Where are you? So I can look at you. I don't know how to get you back, but there's a lot of people kind of like judging people for their choices around how they're dealing with this social isolation. Have you guys noticed that?
Yep.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I noticed someone talking about it yesterday, like someone judging someone because they were talking to their neighbor and their neighbor was like 10 feet away and they let their dog's noses touch or something ridiculous like that. And so it's not, we don't have time for that right now. Like that is not helpful. So even just by applying some On Guard before you go outside, it gives you a feeling of protection emotionally from some of that negative stuff going on out there in the world. And people are scared. So I know it's just coming from a place of being very fearful, but it can be a really helpful oil for that specific situation as well. So I really am loving On Guard, and we are definitely using that one every day. Anyone else loving that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure. Every day.
Yeah. Awesome. I wish I could get your pictures back. Okay. Okay. So best oils for stress. So those are the best oils for stress. Now, the Adaptive Collection is beautiful. You can buy this from the US site, and I know a lot of people are loving this kit. You can get it so that the three come together. You're getting a pre-diluted roller, you're getting the calming capsules, and the oil. And the oil is great to have so that you can then diffuse it and then also make your own rollers after you run out of that roller. But this is just a beautiful formula for so many, and it really is helping people to get ahead of their stress. Now, if you haven't experimented with the emotional oils, oh my gosh, now is a great time to do so. I am loving these oils. I don't know about you guys, but I'm finding I'm reaching for them a little bit more often now. It's a whirlwind of emotions. I feel like emotions switch like every 5 minutes or 10 minutes. There's always something new to you that you learn about, or the thoughts start creeping in about, oh my God, like for me, it's like, oh my God, like, could this go on for a year? Right. And when you start thinking those thoughts, it creates that stress in your body. And it's a negative thing. And so sometimes just having these oils in your home, all over your house, where you can just reach for it really quickly and use it proactively, you're really going to notice that you're not getting that up and down and you're not reacting to things as much. So, but the key is to get proactive. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these because I think you guys know, but there is a really cool wheel that you can follow based on what you're feeling. So if you're feeling fearful, the florals might be a great one to be reaching for. That's why we talked about peace. If you take a look at Forgive over here, Like, it's not surprise, angry, ashamed. Is anyone angry? I'm angry. Is anyone angry? I was so flipping out at our bookkeeper the other day, and it was the wrong person to be flipping out at. But I was angry at this government, this grant, feeling like there's going to create all these loopholes and make it hard for us to get. And that was a normal reaction. Like, it's not like we're trying to get rid of our emotions, because we have to go through our emotions. That's what makes us human. But what these oils help you to do is to move through them more quickly, and to maybe, make them less strong, I guess, if you put it that way. So, and, talking about your emotions is cool too. So anyone felt angry recently?
Definitely. When I
Yeah.
see some of this stuff on Facebook and people not taking this seriously,
Mhm.
it makes me angry.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so true, because people are still there, aren't they? They're still kind of gathering. I heard my neighbors. Yeah, I don't mean, again, like, I'm judging. I shouldn't be judging, but they were all gathered in someone's backyard and they were up all night drinking. And like, no, you guys, you're not supposed to do that anymore. Like, maybe last week when we were a little bit more lax, and but every day it gets a little bit more strict, and I feel like we have to just be a little bit more cautious. But here are some really nice blends. Oops. Some recipes here. I don't know if you want to take a picture of this now, but this is, I got your pictures back up. There you are. There's some really beautiful blends here that you can start using in your diffuser. And, I find that I'm using my diffuser more. Like, to be honest, I didn't really use it as much as some people did. I always took things to go, but I'm using my diffuser more, and I'm kind of enjoying it. And so use this time at home to just have some fun, right? Like, make up some recipes that you love, like come up with a home scent that you always use. Like, it's so cool. Like, people come to my house and they're like, oh my God, it smells so good in here. And I have no idea it even smells. But isn't that neat that people will identify your house with a certain smell? And, if they're happy and joyful in your house, they're always going to remember, like, oh, it was so-and-so's house. I love that smell. And it was just made me feel calm the minute I stepped into their home. And so have fun with it. And we've got to really take this situation and try to find the good stuff, right? And there's a lot of good stuff. I have to say that I've been really enjoying some of the things that have come out of this. I know it sounds kind of weird, but I think we're all kind of seeing it, like people coming out and helping and doing some really incredible things. So, when it comes to any sort of issue of the brain, which is what we're talking about, there's always things you want to consider as well. Like, essential oils are fantastic tools. Don't get me wrong. Everyone needs them. But there's also some further investigation that's helpful, that if you are like feeling these things chronically, like definitely, taking a deeper dive into gut brain health, your nutrition, making sure you're doing fish oils, vitamin B, vitamin D, and magnesium at the very least if you're anxious. Making sure that you're really balancing your blood sugar levels with a good diet. I mean, I can help you guys with this if you want to dive deeper. Practicing your breathing, maybe meditating. We have time now. And then doing some mindset work, because it really is mindset that's going to help us get through this. Like, do you remember was it Viktor Frankl that came up with that whole, it was this famous thing that he did where it was during the Nazi time. And he wrote this book, and he told his kid that it was a game, like they were in the concentration camps. And he convinced his kid that they were just in this like hide and seek game, and they were having to go hide themselves from people and stay out of sight. And the kid really literally thought he was in a game. And so the kid wasn't stressed because he was having fun playing hide and go seek. And so I think that there's nothing wrong with convincing yourself of things and changing your mindset and how you look about things. Like, for my youngest, he's 11. He thinks kids can't get this. And I'm okay with that. That's what he believes, and that's what I want him to believe, because he's 11 and he worries. And we were out today, and he's like, oh, Mom, I can go in the store with Dad because I'm a kid. I'm not going to get it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. But let's just hang outside. But that's his belief, and I am happy with that belief. And I think because it can be so powerful. Like, why worry them when you don't have to, right?
Linda, your brain does not know the difference between
No.
a threat and a perceived threat.
Yeah.
So you're watching the news that night and you go to bed, your brain, regardless of whether that's a real threat or not, is thinking that, and your body is reacting to that. So you have to be very careful when you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
the mindset. And as far as balancing blood sugar levels, I don't know if people know that monk sugar is one sugar that does not do anything to your blood sugar levels. So if you've got a sweet tooth, you can use monk sugar instead of honey or regular sugar, brown sugar, or any of that other sugar that actually does make your blood sugars fluctuate.
Yeah. Yeah. I just got someone's goal. So thank you for sending that to me. Thanks for sharing that, Tina, because there are so many things you can do. And that is a powerful one. Just a simple switch out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And what I do quite often is when I get my mind like that into a perceived threat, I just in my brain keep saying cancel, cancel, cancel. And you can use any word you want, right? It's just to cancel that out of your thoughts. So you're not thinking that bad thought again.
yeah, love it. Love it. Yeah, so many great strategies. And again, just reframing, like one of my stresses right now is like trying to get it all done. Like I'm still working from home because I technically still have a job. I'm still educating, I'm still teaching, I'm still doing all of that and designing things. And but the kids are home and they're on technology more than I'm comfortable with. But I have totally lowered my standards. Like I am like, if they don't like I have a schedule now, so they know that they have to get off their technology for like a big chunk of the afternoon and then a couple hours in the morning. But I'm okay. Like they're in life school right now. They're finishing our basement, and you know I've got them on projects like that. And to me, that's learning. And I'm not going to worry about the curriculum as much because really, let's be honest, they're going to catch up at some point. It's going to be maybe 6 months of their lifetime, and it's not going to be, they're learning so much just by living through this.
Yeah.
So and whatever your issue is, it's reframing it, you know, and it's not being so hard on ourselves. Like we can't do it all. We just can't, especially at a time like this. So, and someone said you were teaching, right? Trying to teach from home. Like some of our teachers out there, super stressful. And you just do the best you can, right? Like I saw emails from my teachers coming in. I'm like, you guys are awesome. Like even just like one thing, giving one thing for the week, it to me is like amazing because, you know, why give 10 things? They're not going to do it. Just do one thing, you know, and it's all good. It's going to be fine and we'll figure it out together. And, but just, yeah, making sure that you reframe and lower expectations of yourself.
Right. And remember, everything is meant to happen. There's a reason for everything happening, and hopefully we'll come out of this as better people, or at least learn some lessons from it.
Yeah, I believe we are. Yeah. And it's pretty cool once you've changed your mindset and you see what comes to you, because when you come from the mindset of gratitude and positive, you're going to find that those are the people that you hear from and that are around you. So like I haven't, and I know I'm not saying this to like sound snotty or anything, but I don't feel a lot of that anger. Maybe I just ignore it well, I don't know, but I feel like everyone in sort of my circle is kind of the same, and we're all trying to make the best of it, and we're positive, and we're trying to like change our brains in that way. And I think that when you can get yourself up to that energetic level and that thinking, that starts to become your world, your circle. But it's getting way too deep. Let's move on. Okay, so this is just a little sample wellness box for those of you who have oils already and have an account, which I think is all of you. But you know, this adaptive kit is beautiful. Wild orange, Kabaiba soft gels, I love right now, and balance. Like these are the oils that people need right now for sure. And I'm sure some of you have tried some of them, but if you haven't, it's just kind of a suggestion if you want to give it a try that gets you up to the right PV to get the free oil of the month. That's all that's for. And I'm going to skip by how to buy because I don't believe we have, do we have anyone new in this group? Because I saw someone else joined. I just see iPhone. So someone's listed as iPhone. Is that Nadine? Do you want to text in for us? Do you have oils, Nadine? I'm just going to check my chat. Yes, she has oils. And are they doTERRA? Yes, okay. So you have them as well. And we'll just find out later who's on your team and something. But do you know who enrolled you? I'm just wondering if it was someone on my team or if it was someone else. Oh, Rebecca Gilkinson. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we're going to skip this. Now, questions. What questions do you have? I'm going to just get my chat feature up here. Any questions? What I would love to hear is, what is one strategy you are doing right now for yourself to keep your stress levels low? It can be an oil, it can be a habit, it can be anything. What's one thing you're doing right now? And then I'm going to get into the second half of the class if you want to hang in to just learn a little bit about the business opportunity in case anyone's interested in earning a couple bucks. Thanks, Deb. Thanks for joining us. You're welcome. All right, so let's, if you're gonna stick with us, if you want to stay and listen, say I'm in. The Lifelong Vitality Program is amazing. They have changed my life. Yes, the vitamins are awesome. If you guys aren't on the vitamins yet, you know, nourish 3 times of stress, because your body is burning through your B vitamins, your magnesium, all your vitamin C, and the Lifelong Vitality has 333% of your recommended daily amount of vitamin C. Meditation.